Hare Krishna. Welcome to the lockdown program with Krishna under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill. Today we are reading and discussing the most beautiful Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Giridharadhari Jaya Giridharadhari Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, Hare
My
Krishna.
voice is a bit not so good tonight.
No, very fine. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Very nice. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Dharm, Rashmi, Samia, Amit, Ben. Vaishana will come a bit later. And Amar can't come due to parenting duties. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the lockdown with Krishna under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill. To start off the evening, what I like to do, I like to play you a little clip over screen sharing of a very nice bhajan which I came across, Hari Hari Biphale, from Narottam Das Thakur. There is a devotee called, Ben, you probably heard of him, Agnideva. He is an old soul in the early days of Krishna consciousness. He recorded many different albums, and he was probably the number one choice of devotees listening to his kirtans, beautiful kirtans. He was in the Kirtan Mela in Mayapur. I have actually over these years never heard of him, but I do remember very well in the early days of Krishna consciousness, he was Kirtan singer number one. Everybody knew Agnideva. Oh yes, at that time there were cassette tapes. You have a cassette, you have a recording of Agnideva. Wow, Krishna Haribol, thank you. Like that. So we don't play the whole Kirtan, Hari Hari Biphale. What I'm after is a couple of minutes, an address of him talking about the song and making some very, very nice points. Points we have been discussing in our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, like getting some attraction of hearing some message of the Bhagavatam, and not wasting our life. So that is also the message of that song, a lamentation. Let's share that screen. It's a little bit of Kirtan, and afterwards his just very short explanation of the song. Here we go.
This was a very beautiful song sung by Dasa. Srila Prabhupada was asked by Jamuna Devi what was his favorite bhajan, and he said, Hari Hari Biphale. There are many, many recordings of Srila Prabhupada singing this song. It is a song about lamentation. And Srila Prabhupada said, lamentation means purification. Now, how Narottam is lamented? He says, Hari Hari Biphale Janama Goain. My Lord, I have wasted my life. I have wasted my life. I got this human form of life, and it was meant for worshipping Radha and Krishna. But I did not do so. And therefore, knowingly, I was drinking poison. So if we don't worship Radha and Krishna, if we don't chant Hare Krishna, then we are knowingly drinking poison. Our life is a useless waste of time. And then Narottam Das tells us that this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is the real wealth of Goloka. Golokera Premadhan Harinam Sankirtan. They are chanting there also. Real chanting is going on there. Real chanting. Here we are making a show only. But so he said that this chanting was brought here by who? By Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the father of the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtanai Papitaro Karunavata. He very kindly, mercifully, brought this Harinam Sankirtan. Such a nice process. It is the Yuga Dharma, and specifically because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing this holy name, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, his brand of, you could say, his brand of Sankirtan is called Prema Sankirtan. It is not ordinary. He is giving the pure teachings of the holy name to anyone and everyone And by this chanting, one can gain the highest results, which is love of God. So, Narottam Das Thakur laments that such a nice process given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, who are non-different from Krishna and Balaram, Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachisuta Hoilo Say, Balaram Hoilo Nitai, says they have come and they've given such a nice process, but I was not attracted. I didn't take advantage of it. But now, he's saying that at the end of my life I'm realizing how foolish I was. And therefore I'm lamenting. Because if we don't take to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, we don't take to the Sankirtan movement, then great sorrow awaits us at the end of life. Great sorrow, because we'll realize we wasted our life. And we don't know where we are going. What will happen next? So, Narottam Das Thakur says, I have no other shelter. I have no one else to take shelter of. So please don't push me away. This feeling of having no other shelter but the Lord, Srila Prabhupada says this is a very nice position to be in. Because generally we think we have so many other shelters other than Krishna. We take shelter of our money, our family, our friends, society and whatnot. But they cannot give us any shelter really. So to come to the point of realizing that Krishna is my only shelter is a very nice position. So at the end of the song, Narottam Das expresses like that you are my only shelter. So let us chant Hare Krishna.
So that was a very important point of finding shelter. Being attracted by the Sankirtan movement. So we will go to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with the 22nd shloka, which is in the chat now. 1, 2, 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1:22. Ato vai gavayo nidyam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvantyatma prasadanim. Translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to itself. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The speciality of devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is specifically mentioned herein. Lord Shri Krishna is the Svayam Rupa, personality of Godhead. And all other forms of Godhead, beginning from Shri Baladev, Shankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Narayan, and extending to the Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Lila avatars, Yuga avatars, and many other thousands of manifestations of the personality of Godhead, are Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. So this needs a little bit of explanation so far. First of all, Svayam Rupa. What is the Svayam Rupa? The Svayam Rupa is the original form of the two-handed Krishna. There are many other forms and all with technical names and so on, but Svayam Rupa is the original two-handed form as Krishna. Then we have Purusha avatars. Purusha. Anyone can say, what are the Purusha avatars? Who are they? There is mentioned Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Lila avatars, Yuga avatars. Let's clarify what is what. So what are the Purusha avatars? Anyone? The Purusha avatars, can you hear me? Amit, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, Ben. Something to the Purusha avatars?
Purusha avatars is this? It's either the Garbhadakshay Vishnu.
Yes, the three Vishnus.
Kshiradakshai Vishnu and Karanadakshay Vishnu.
Yes, the three Vishnus.
Purusha avatars.
Very nice. Well done. Mahavishnu, Karanadakashay Vishnu, same thing. Mahavishnu or Karanodakashay. Karana is the causal ocean, there where he lies in. Mahavishnu, out of his body coming all the universes by his breathing process. Then we have the Garbhodakashay Vishnu. From him, all through his doorway, all the incarnations are coming. He is a super soul of the universe, so to speak. And the third Vishnu is a Kshirodakashay. This word may be a little bit complicated. Kshirodakashay. Rashmi, what is Kshiro from the Hindi? What does Kshiro mean? Are you there, Rashmi?
I'm there, Prabhuji. I don't know what it means.
There is no Hindi?
There is, but that does not make sense.
Okay.
Shir means end. Like, the end, like a knot. So it doesn't make sense.
Okay, Kshirodakashay, he's a Paramatma, it's a universal form as well. Samir?
Is it the Lord lying in the ocean of milk?
Yes, so I thought Kshiro means maybe milk in Hindi. Okay. Kshirodakashay, he's Paramatma. Amit, he is also the universal form, because we spoke quite a few times about the universal form. That is that third Vishnu. He's the incarnation of goodness. He is therefore Purusha avatar and Guna avatar. We will clear out what is Guna avatar. He lies on the ocean of milk. He's a maintainer and the master of the universe. So this the three Vishnus. These are the Purusha avatars, Mahavishnu and the two other Vishnus. So what are then the Guna avatars? Guna, what is Guna? Anyone? Guna avatars. Ben.
Guna avatars are there.
Tell me.
The three gunas of goodness, maintenance, and passion.
Yes. So here is a quote from the Chaitanya. Ben?
Guna avatars is Vishnu,
Yes.
Brahma, and Shiva.
Yes. So here, Brahma, that's the Rajagun. There is a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because of his pious activities relating to Brahma, because of his pious activities mixed with devotional service, so first-class living entity is influenced by the mode of passion within his mind. Such a devotee is empowered by Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. In this way, an incarnation of Krishna in the form of Brahma engineers the total creation of the universe. Interesting. So, the incarnation of Krishna in the form of Brahma is engineering the universe. If in a kalpa, which is a day of Brahma, if in a kalpa a suitable living entity is not available to take charge of Brahma's post, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself personally expands and becomes Lord Brahma. We have spoken about that before. And then we have Vishnu, Sattva-gun, and Shiva, Kama-gun. Incarnations are very nicely described in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Madhya Lila 2289 and onwards. Beautiful explanation. So what are then the next? What are the Lila avatars? Anyone? Lila avatars. So we had Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Lila avatars. Different categories of incarnation. What are the Lila avatars? Anyone? Lila. Samir.
Lila avatars. Lila means pastimes.
Yes.
So there's many Lila avatars.
Like
Narad.
Narad is not counted amongst the avatars.
No, Narad. I thought Narad was counted as.
What, Ben?
Okay.
What do you say?
I'll give you a clue.
Please.
Well, there's like the Dasa avatars.
Yes.
They're all related to Krishna's pastimes in different incarnations: Varaha, Matsya, Buddha, Lord Ram, Kalki,
Yes.
etc., etc.
Yes. Nrsimha, Vamana, Varaha. All these are Lila avatars, past times. Narad is not counted amongst. I've never seen Narad amongst the Dash avatars. Or he is a space traveler. He's a different category. He's a devotee. These avatars are Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu on the same level as Vishnu. Then, next, what are the Yuga avatars? Balaram is a Leela avatar. Balaram is Krishna himself, really the first expansion of Krishna. I have never heard Balaram counted amongst the Leela avatars, or Krishna for that matter. Of course, these are doing Leelas, but generally Leela avatars like Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, and so on. Yuga avatars. What are the Yuga avatars? Who are the Yuga avatars? Dharm. Okay, a shame you cannot speak. Does the Chaitanya Charitamrita Dharm say Balaram or Krishna? Balaram is a Leela avatar?
No. Balaram is not.
There is also a description of 25 Leela avatars. 25 Leela avatars, namely. Narada is included. Samir, you're right. Varaha, Matsya. Balaram is included. Okay. So Narada and Balaram are Leela avatars. Thank you, Dham. Very quick. Ben?
Were you asking about yugas?
No. I thought we were on the. I thought you were asking about yuga avatars.
Yes, but Dharm posted something.
Okay.
So
No, I mean, an example of a yuga avatar is Krishna, who came in the Dwapara Yuga.
Yep.
So that's one. But of course, each yuga has an avatar, but I can't think of any more at the moment.
There are 4 colors.
Yeah,
4 colors, right? Satya?
4 colors: red, yellow, white.
White, red, black, and yellow.
Yeah.
Right? Satya, white. Then red. Then black. That's Dwapara Yuga, Krishna. Yellow, Lord Chaitanya. In Satya Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body colored white, with 4 arms and matted hair. He wore 3 bark and bore a black antelope skin. He wore a sacred thread and a garland of rudraksha beads. He carried a rod and a water pot, and he was a brahmachari. Satya Yuga. No name is given. I don't know. In Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body that had a reddish hue and 4 arms. There were 3 distinctive lines on his abdomen, and his hair was golden. His form manifested the Vedic knowledge, and he bore the symbols of a sacrificial spoon, ladle, and so on. Dwapara Yuga, it was Krishna. Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can also be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that is quite important to remember. Satya Yuga, it was meditation. Treta Yuga, it was sacrifices. Dwapara Yuga, by serving the Lord's lotus feet. Kali Yuga, by chanting the holy name. There are other avatars. The Purusha avatars, Lila avatars, Guna avatars, Yuga avatars. There are the Manvantara avatars. Manvantara, Manu, right? Manvantara avatars. One day of Brahma has 14 Manus. During the reign of each Manu, an incarnation of the Lord is manifested. The Manus themselves are partial incarnations of the Lord. 1 month of Brahma has 420 Manvantaras. 1 year of Manu has 5,040 Manvantaras. Brahma's life has 504,000 Manvantaras. These figures are for 1 universe. Innumerable universes are there. All these universes and Brahma exist only during 1 exhalation of Mahavishnu. There is no limit to the exhalations of Mahavishnu. I mean, this is just to get things into perspective.
So, Puji, where are you reading from?
That was just researched a little bit from different bits and pieces. Because I just felt a little bit more information was needed. So, just to get things in perspective. All that is just 1 exhalation of Mahavishnu. It's a life of Brahma, 1 exhalation of Mahavishnu. And here it said there is no limit to the exhalations of Mahavishnu. In the Svayambhuva Manvantara, so these different episodes where Manu is ruling, they have also the different names. The avatar is named Yagya. In the Svarochisha Manvantar, he is named Vipu. In the Autama Manvantara, he is named Satyasena. And in the Tamasa Manvantara, his name is Hari. A list of names of the 14 Manus is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this quote that all was from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, okay, that was a different avatars. Let's carry on reading. Many other thousands of manifestations of the personality of Godhead as Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of Godhead, and he is the last word in transcendence. Thus, he is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who participate in the eternal pastimes. Here, it could be noted that the living entities don't go directly back to Godhead. I don't know if you heard that before. I think we mentioned that at least once. If we are eligible to go back to Godhead, it's not directly back to Godhead, but we will appear where Krishna performs his pastimes, like in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago. We take birth where Krishna performs his pastimes. And there we get trained up by the eternal associates of the Lord who come with him wherever he performs his pastimes, and thus we become eligible to enter Goloka, the spiritual world. So, again, thus he is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who participate in the eternal pastimes of the Lord. In forms of the personality of Godhead other than Sri Krishna and Baladev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact, as in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord at Vrajabhumi. The transcendental pastimes of the Lord Sri Krishna are not newly accepted, as argued by some less intelligent persons. His pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahma. So that is also important. These pastimes are manifested once in a day of Brahma. A day of Brahma, of course, we know it's called a kalpa. So 4 yugas together, there are 4,320,000 years times 1,000, which comes to 4,320,000,000 years. So again, his pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahma. So very, very rare indeed. As the sun rises on the eastern horizon at the end of every 24 hours. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any comments to that 22nd verse? Or questions?
Prabhuji, I heard that we are very fortunate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna do not appear in every kalpa. But this particular age, they have both appeared one after the other. So
yes,
we are very fortunate that we are born in this. Well, we are human birth in this.
Absolutely. That is my understanding also. And that is somewhere explained exactly what is the schedule when Lord Chaitanya appears after Lord Krishna, after the Dwapara Yuga. There is a schedule, a technical explanation, which I don't know. Samir.
My question was, once in the day of Brahma, so the eternal pastimes continue, but they are continuing all the time, right? So does that mean what does it mean by once in a day of Brahma then? Because obviously Brahma's day is very long. Is that just...
That's a good question. I was puzzled a bit on that as well. One thing we know, that Krishna displays his pastimes around the clock by schedule, but not necessarily in our universe. These pastimes going on in different universes all the time. So not here, but I mean, here Srila Prabhupada clearly says, his pastimes, let's take it a bit. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna are not newly accepted, as argued by some less intelligent person. His pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji, as the sun rises and so on. Well, it means what it says. Krishna's pastimes are manifested once in a day of Brahma, which is a very, very long time. Welcome, Vaishnava Mataji, Hare Krishna. So, it's not said every Dvapara Yuga we have Krishna performing his Vrindavan pastimes. It appears. If anybody has any other information, please bring it up. Samir?
I still don't understand it. I don't know. Could you elaborate a little bit further on this? I don't understand.
Well, I can only say what Srila Prabhupada speaks here, said Krishna's pastimes are eternal, are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji. So, Krishna's pastimes, obviously said, is his Vrindavan pastimes and Dwaraka pastimes. They are manifested quite rare, once in a day of Brahma.
So, once in a day of Brahma, obviously, is a long time for us.
It's a long time. It's 4,320,000,000. Yes, that's a day of Brahma.
So, does that mean that these pastimes are maybe it means that the pastimes, all the different pastimes are happening. I think that's what it means. All these pastimes are happening all the time, because once in a day of Brahma is a long time. And then I think once the day of Brahma is over, then obviously then they stop, doesn't it? I think it stops.
Well, we can't speculate here. We could research that a little bit more. If anyone got some information or is able to research that, it would mean, as Srila Prabhupada speaks here, these pastimes, because we seem to be under the impression that each Dvapara Yuga, the Lord appears. But according to that, he's not appearing each Dvapara Yuga. He's only appearing in the Dvapara Yuga once in a day of Brahma. Rashmi.
Prabhuji, he does not appear in Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both don't appear in every Dwapar Yuga. So every Dwapar, that calculation which you said,
yeah.
I was hearing one Maharaj, and he was explaining that calculation. It's very complex to understand that kalpa and all that. So in a nutshell, what it means is he does not appear, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, they do not appear in every yug. So Satyug, Dwapar, it's not that now Dwapar Yug will come, then again they will appear. And then again Kali Yug will come, again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will appear. So that will not happen. They will not appear every time. That calculation is there. But it was also said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if Krishna is appearing, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will 100% appear, according to that, whatever is written in the Shastra.
So you're saying after Krishna appears, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears definitely afterwards.
Yes, but they will not appear in every,
Yes, that's what it says here. That's how I read that. That they only appear once in a day of Brahma, which means every kalpa.
In every kalpa
they appear. Yes.
Yeah, and there are many Brahmas, na? Every universe has a Brahma.
Yeah. Yes,
so that somewhere in some universe there are millions and trillions of universes. So in some universe, somewhere they will be appearing still. So they are continuing. Some universe they will take place.
Well, what does that mean? That is also my reading. And I mean, Srila Prabhupada says it very clear. Once in a day of Brahma, Krishna appears and with his pastime. So what does that mean? That means we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate that we could have been taking our birth in any, and probably we have. But right now, we took our birth in that particular Dwapara Yuga, which comes every 4,320,000,000 years. In that particular kalpa where Lord Sri Krishna displays his Vrindavan pastimes and then followed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should see ourselves as extremely fortunate. And if we waste that great opportunity, just 5,000 years of Lord Krishna has walked this planet, and 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya has walked this planet, then we are big losers. Ben?
You say we're fortunate, but we were going to take birth anyway. Were we going to take birth anyway? We did take birth, so it was going to happen.
Yes, but we may take birth in some animal species, or we may take birth without joining or knowing of the Sankirtan movement. Right? We can take birth and be just living a materialistic life without any knowledge of the Lord's Vrindavan pastimes, like so many people. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. It is very, very rare amongst thousands and thousands.
But at the moment, there's like 7.2 billion human beings in this world.
Right.
But very few of them, although they're all fortunate, they're in another sense, they're not fortunate.
In which sense they're fortunate and which sense they're not fortunate?
Well, they're only fortunate if they come in contact with Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Otherwise, they would be deemed to be not fortunate.
Yes.
But they're all born at this time. So in a sense, there is a fortune. There is a sense of fortune there, that they're in this time. But they haven't necessarily taken to Krishna consciousness, although they're in this period of time.
There is a possibility for them to be fortunate and to become fortunate. And who makes them fortunate? We, as devotees, have to make everybody fortunate. That is our service to Krishna, of getting the people in touch with Krishna consciousness and make them fortunate. As we have been getting in touch with Krishna consciousness through the mercy of some devotee. Padarshaka Guru, someone introduced us to Krishna consciousness. So we have to introduce someone else as well, at least one person.
Would you say that to different degrees, everybody in a sense is Krishna conscious? Although they might not see it in terms of being directly conscious of Krishna. But even Mayavadis and impersonalists and people of different religions, they still have some degree of God consciousness.
What's that answer? Anybody? Who can answer Ben's question? Samir.
Yeah. we're all originally Krishna conscious. So the answer is, we're already there. It's just needs awakening.
Yes, that's what I would say. Varshana?
Yes, I totally agree with Samir. I do believe so, because when the baby is in the mother's womb and it is giving birth, it tells us that the baby is given a chance, and it is Krishna conscious at that time, and it makes promises to the Lord. I think there was a video from, was it Radhanath Swami, who says, "Do not forget the promise you made to the Lord, saying that when I come out into the world, I will remember you and worship you." But then once it gives birth, the mother gives birth, the child forgets, and that is a fact, isn't it?
Yes, even so, Shastra says one can remember 100 births if one is fortunate. So that seems to indicate not everybody remembers 100 births, and perhaps not everybody prays to the Lord. Some may be so forgetful. But if one is fortunate, that is exactly as you explained it. So, yes, Krishna consciousness is already there, but it's covered over. Ben?
And people, they get diverted by so many different things. They have different mindset, different goals in life. They set their mind to temporary goals, thinking them to be the aim of life. They don't know the true aim of life.
It is very easy to be diverted. Why else would Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, if someone practices Krishna consciousness for a short time or a longer time and then falls away from the path, they will come back and be born in aristocratic family or in the family of transcendentalists. And I mean, look just who has been here so far in the lockdown. Some have come, some have gone. They have been diverted. Easy to get diverted. But I mean, here it is absolutely amazing that a core group of devotees are regularly here who have not got diverted. So let's make sure we don't get diverted. Others have come, others have gone, diverted by all kinds of things. Diverted by work commitments and this and that and too tired and so many ways we can get diverted. If our faith is not that strong, if our faith has reached a certain maturity and strength, we will not get diverted. Samir?
Yes, I think, as the Prabhu was saying in the class that you just put on, that, towards the end of his life, he's singing, "I wasted my life. My Lord, you gave me the human form of life and I wasted it." And we keep getting reminders that please don't waste your life. From birth to death. So from B to D, in the middle is C.
Yes.
And is the choices we make. We can either choose the material way or we can choose the spiritual way and go to Krishna. So every step in our day, that we might do something like, oh, should I put the TV on? Or should I read? Or should I chant? Should I do? And the choices are there for us. So if we make the right choices, then we're not wasting our human form, not wasting it.
Yes, thank you. And I mean, we're not talking about being diverted for 10 minutes because we forget Krishna for 10 minutes, being diverted for an evening or being diverted for a day and then finding our way back or stopping chanting our rounds for a week and then getting back. And this is diversion, yes. And Srila Prabhupada says, whatever happens, never stop chanting Hare Krishna, because then you're giving up your lifeline. But diverted means we can be diverted for months and years, or we can be diverted for an entire lifetime. And then that what Narottam Das Thakur was singing, Hari Hari Biphale, said we arriving at the end of this particular lifetime, and we coming to the understanding we have so much wasted. We have wasted our life, and now we are on the brink of leaving this body, and that is great lamentation. We haven't found that shelter, and it's not that at the time of death I will quickly catch up and become Krishna conscious. It's not like that at all. If we don't practice Krishna consciousness now, up till the time of death, we won't be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. We have to stay connected somehow or other, all the way through, not getting diverted. Very dangerous, getting diverted. We think, oh, a little bit diversion, a little bit of flirting with the material energy, and then I find my way quickly back to Krishna consciousness. It doesn't work like that. Maya can take us away for the entire lifetime. So we have to be very, very careful. And remember that purport of Hari Hari Biphale, where Srila Narottam Das Thakur put himself into describing a position. Of course, he's a liberated soul, Narottam Das Thakur, but he's describing a position of an ordinary man, of an ordinary person who will realize at the end of his life, I have wasted my life. Another life wasted. I have to come back. Okay, let's move on. We're spending a lot of time on that one verse. These concepts of the Purusha avatars, the Guna avatars, the Lila avatars, and so on, this will come up again. And if we don't grasp it now, we don't necessarily need to know all the technical details, but the basic categories, because they are avatars, they are unlimited avatars of the Lord, like waves in the ocean. So who wants to read the next text, which is 23? Vaishana Mataji.
Yes, thank you. I will read. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sattvam Rajastama iti prakriter gunaster yukta para purusho eka ihasya date sthiti adaye hari virenchi harete samjna shayamsi tatra khalu sattvatanor narnama shu. Translation. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That Lord Sri Krishna, by his plenary parts, should be rendered devotional service as explained above, is confirmed by this statement. Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baladev. From Baladev is Sankarsana. From Sankarsana is Narayan. From Narayan, there is the second Sankarsana, and from this Sankarsana, the Vishnu Purusha avatars. The Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purusha avatara, known as Kishorodakshaya Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity of Rajas, passion, and Shiva of ignorance. They are the three departmental heads of the three qualities of this material world. Creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and his endeavor. It is maintained by the goodness of Vishnu. And when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does it by the Dandavanartya. The materialists and the foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively, but the pure transcendentalists worship the form of goodness, Vishnu, in his various forms. Vishnu is manifested by his millions and billions of integrated forms and separated forms. The integrated forms are called Godhead, and the separated forms are called the living entities or the jivas. Both the jivas and Godhead have their original spiritual forms. Jivas are sometimes subjected to the control of material energy, but the Vishnu forms are always controllers of this energy. When Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, appears in the material world, he comes to deliver the conditioned living beings who are under the material energy. Such living beings appear in the material world with intentions of being lords, and thus they become entrapped by the three modes of nature. As such, the living entities have to change their material coverings for undergoing different terms of imprisonment. The prison house of the material world is created by Brahma under the instruction of the personality of Godhead, and at the conclusion of a kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. But as far as maintenance of the prison house is concerned, it is done by Vishnu, as much as the state prison house is maintained by the state. Anyone, therefore, who wishes to get out of this prison house of material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must please Lord Vishnu for such liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only, and if anyone has to continue prison life in the material world, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. No demigod, however, can release the imprisoned living being from the conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Jai.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, comments? I have a question for you, Vaishnav Mataji. It says here towards the end, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. Relative facilities, what are we talking about? What kind of facilities can those demigods provide?
I don't really know. Is it talking about people do fasts or pray to them or something like that? Is it talking about?
Samir?
They're talking about material relief, so material benefits maybe, like wealth or good wife or anything like that, which is like a temporary relief, but it's not eternal. What I'm trying to say is that it's not eternal relief. It's always going to be there. Like the example was Hiranyakashipu. He even asked, to be immortal, but he couldn't give that because Brahma is not even immortal himself. So
Yes, thank you. That I made a note here also. Temporary wealth, health, fame, learning, strength, beauty. These are kind of relative facilities where people are aspiring very much to these kind of opulences. Anything else? I made a note here where Srila Prabhupada speaks of At the conclusion of a kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. And we have given that example before. It's like a sandcastle on the beach. When the tide comes in, everything is destroyed again. Ben.
My question is, why does he call them foolish living entities? Just because they worship Brahma or Shiva?
Who can answer that question? Why they are called foolish living entities? Because they're worshipping Brahma and Shiva. That's Ben questions. Samir?
They're called foolish because they're asking for temporary relief from the demigods, whereas if you go directly to Krishna, then you can get eternal relief. So it's like, for example, just something that comes to mind. Maybe say you cut yourself in your leg or something, and you're asking, "Oh, please, can you just temporarily just sort this out?" Whereas, if you go to the Lord, and he can say, "Okay, I'll sort that out, but also I'll make sure it never happens again, and I'll take you back to Godhead." So then, in the spiritual world, that will never happen to you ever. So that's why it's foolish, because you're just asking for that relief, but then it can happen to you again.
But Samir Prabhu, Shiva is himself a devotee of the Lord. There is in the Ramayana there is a whole section where Shiva is only talking about worship of the Supreme Personality to Parvati. So if somebody is playing to Shiva, Shiva is going to direct him or to Hanuman for that matter. They are anyway eternal servants of the Supreme. So how does it matter?
Good question.
They prefer to. You cannot tell a Hanuman Bhakt or a Shiv Bhakt that no, you go to Krishna directly. Don't go through. I understand what you're saying, but having said that, the Hanuman Bhakt will want to do Hanuman Seva. But the only thing we can tell that person is that you can ask Hanuman for whatever you want to ask, but also ask him to make him, to tell Hanuman to give you bhakti, to make him you also the servant of Sri Ram. Or you can ask Shiva that make servant of Krishna, give us bhakti, same as you have got bhakti, help us also. So there is no harm.
There's no harm. It's that the foolish part is what they're asking for. That's the foolish part. The foolish part isn't going to them. The foolish part is what they ask for. They ask for material gain and temporary gain. Whereas if they go there to ask for eternal, if they ask for bhakti and prem bhakti and devotional service, then that's not foolish. That's what the question they're asking.
Spot on, Zamir. Ben, I think you want to say something.
Yeah, I got to reel this back again because it's not really answering the question. Because...
Can you state the question again?
Well, I mean, the question was why are the foolish for worshipping Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva?
I think that...
Because if you trace it, you can say, well, does being ignorant, does that make you foolish?
Yes, ignorant can make you foolish. Let's take a material example. You going to a millionaire, you going to Billy Gates, and you're asking him if he can have a pound. Right? That is rather foolish. He's a millionaire. He could give you $1 million easily.
He's a billionaire, not a millionaire.
A billionaire. So going to a billionaire and asking for a pound, yes, that is ignorant. And that is foolish, because it would be good before you going to Billy Gates.
But
you inform yourself what is his position is.
The point I'm trying to make here is that, in a sense, ignorance is what does ignorance mean for a start? It means lack of knowledge. To have no knowledge, to be ignorant. In a sense, it seems quite harsh to blame someone for going somewhere else because they didn't know. It's like they're in a kind of darkness in a sense, and then to then condemn them as foolish. I just find it quite harsh. Yeah, I mean,
yes. I know what you're saying.
If they don't know, of course, when people are enlightened and awakened, and they're aware, that's different. But when you're not aware of something, you're just not aware of it. It's not in your consciousness to be aware of it. So you can make mistakes and you can be wrong. But that's simply because you're ignorant or you don't have that knowledge. And then to say, well, that's foolish. I found that I don't know. I find it a bit harsh on them.
Okay, yes, I understand. So ignorance, as you said yourself, that is ignorance. That is tamagun. Can we blame someone for being in tamagun? Well, they obviously have acted in such a way in previous or this lifetime to be in that tamagun. But I mean, to call them foolish is not to blame them. I don't think Srila Prabhupada is blaming these living entities.
If a living entity doesn't have knowledge of what is the utmost, what is the best, what is superior, they don't have anything to compare. What they're experiencing is what they're experiencing in their life.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult call, really. And also, because Krishna is giving all these living entities the choice, he's giving them the independence. And a lot of people, they just want to enjoy. They want to enjoy themselves, and they want to lord it over. They want to be like Krishna in this material world. So Krishna is given that facility. That's what this material world is being designed and created just for that purpose. So a lot of them, they're out and out, like you got a demoniac almost mentality, in the sense that they don't really care to surrender to Krishna and become a devotee. They're quite happy to be in this situation, to be to have some control, some power, some opportunity. Even like that, they're quite happy to be like that.
Thank you.
Not everyone is.
Yes, thank you. You answered your own question here. They want to enjoy this material world, therefore they're in the mode of ignorance, in the lower mode, because they want to lord over, they want to enjoy this material world, and. So foolish means comparatively. Comparatively, it is foolish to try to enjoy this material world. It's not blaming. How can we blame anybody? That is just they got themselves in such a mess. But it is comparatively, it is foolish because they're acting in a foolish way. Anybody else has, and to Rashmi, it's not. It is easily said, Lord Shiva, what's the harm of approaching Lord Shiva? Samir answered that very nicely. If you approaching Lord Shiva, please, Lord Shiva, Mahadev, please help me to offer devotional service to Krishna. Then this kind of consciousness is very nice because Lord Shiva is the best of Vaishnavas. But that's not what people are doing. They're approaching Lord Shiva, as Samir said, for material benefits. Please give me a good wife. Please give me wealth. Please give me this. And that is foolish. That is just like Dhruva. Dhruva wanted a kingdom bigger than his father's, bigger than Lord Brahma's kingdom. That was foolish desire. So Srila Prabhupada, you said also foolish. It's not blaming or anything. It's a foolish desire to get a kingdom bigger than Lord Brahma. And then once Dhruva, he got in touch with Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu touched the conch on his head. Then he understood himself. That was foolish. I was just going after broken glass, where I could have a diamond. Okay, Rashmi and then Ben.
He was, yes, like you said, Dhruva Maharaj, he said he wanted Artha, he wanted a kingdom greater than his father, but he approached Vishnu for that. So there was nothing wrong in that. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says in the 4th canto, again and again it is repeated, if you are going to go for material desires, that's fine, go to Krishna, go to Vishnu. So that was not foolish. What I'm getting the point what you're saying, but it should not be misunderstood that going to Krishna for material desires is wrong. Everybody does not start on as a pure devotee and wants to please Krishna. We start off like us, like me at least, that we're going to Krishna for material desires. So there is nothing wrong in that as long as we are going to Krishna and not to the demigods. Because
At least with our material desires we're going to Krishna so we can get purified. We're going to the demigods, we won't get purified. But Dhruva himself said it was, so to speak, foolish he realized that he went for broken glass instead of the diamond. Yes, of course. I mean, we spoke about that many times. If you have material desires or no material desires or this or that, at least approach Krishna. And Krishna will purify those material desires and will be ready to offer pure devotional service to him. Ben.
Oh, my question is, what is the issue with these conditioned souls with Krishna? Why is it so irreconcilable? What are the issues?
You said it yourself, what the issues are. You said it yourself. The issues are they want to enjoy in this material world. That's why we came here. They haven't had enough. They didn't have the opportunity to understand who they really are. They will try to enjoy the senses and this material world until they are completely frustrated. Rashmi, your microphone is on. Right? You answered your own question. And we know that.
But then that raises another question. I don't know if you know what I'm going to say, and then is why.
Why what? Rashmi, your microphone is on.
Sorry.
Lots of noise, yes. Ben, your hand is up. It raises another question. Why? Why they going for?
That's the question, yes. Because one question leads to another question, in a sense.
Yes.
Okay, this people, they want to enjoy. They have this rebellious defiance.
Yes.
But then they see that then opens up another question, and then you have to ask so why? Why does everybody have so many issues with Krishna? That they want to. They don't want to be in his association. That's
Anyway, there's an unending question. Amit, he wants to go. We are over time. We got heated up in discussion, and we are supposed to finish at 7:30, Amit, isn't it? So, can we postpone all other questions for next time? I think the issues have been kind of highlighted. We can think about it in the week. Why? But it's not so difficult to understand why we don't want to surrender to Krishna. We have been in the same position. We just look at our own life. We haven't been surrendering to Krishna since day one. We have been trying to enjoy this material world, or we're still trying to enjoy this material world. So why is it so? difficult. The knowledge is missing, of course, as well. But here are the devotees that distribute that knowledge. As soon as there is a little bit of sincerity in a soul and calling out, oh God, Krishna, help me, or something like that in distress, immediately Krishna will make arrangements. That the right knowledge will come to that person. In the form of a book, in the form of someone pointing them in the right direction, and. But that little turning towards God, that little sincerity that is needed, then Krishna immediately he jumps 100 miles to help that person. So I would say, Ben, we have to finish.
I mean, whatever anybody wants anyway, whether they want enjoyment or whatever. I mean, it's only Krishna who provides everything. I mean, even we're talking about the demigods.
It's ignorance, isn't it?
We are talking about the demigods who are like bestowing all these things, but they can't even give anything to anyone without the Krishna's sanction. So Krishna, he's allowing, he's a permitter. He oversees everybody's desires for what they want and what they deserve. So whatever anybody's getting, it's all been sanctioned by Krishna. So even
ultimately,
he's the ultimate bestower of all kind of benedictions and boons and the rewards and everything.
But it's foolish. Everybody looks for happiness, but in the wrong place. And it's, as Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, it's foolish to go for the broken pieces of glass when you could get a diamond. But then knowledge is needed, and the devotees distributing that knowledge, and not only the devotees. Therefore, why Krishna comes in this world to attract the living entities, that while the incarnation comes, that why Krishna's son comes, that why Krishna's the acharyas coming, and just to direct the living entities to the really good fortune. Samir.
Oh, Krishna. I was just going to say, do you think today we could go on till 9? Because obviously over already. So
I don't know what's the timing with Rashmi, with Varshana. Normally we say on a Wednesday 8:30, on a Saturday till 9. I don't mind. I can discuss these things till midnight, but not everybody can. How is your time, Varshana Mataji? How is your time, Rashmi?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Say it again.
I'm okay today.
You're okay today, Rashmi. What about you?
Yes, Prabhuji. If it answers all of Ben's and Samir's Ben's question, then yes, you must finish it today. Don't keep it for next week.
So let's go up till 9. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Samir. You brought it up. Rashmi, I'm concerned. Is that clear with going to the demigods? What's the harm, you said, and so on? The harm is, that is a very important point. The harm is if we approach the demigods for material benefits. At least you answered that question yourself. If we have material desires, at least let's go to Krishna and not the demigods. I mean, what can we do? If we have material desires, we have material desires. But the demigods can only gratify our material desires.
What I was trying
Krishna
to say
can do much more than that.
Yeah, I understand that, Prabhuji. What I'm trying to say is, you cannot, because this is what I experience practically every time on a daily basis with my own family, with very close friends. So it's very hard to tell somebody who is very in you've got to understand, in Indian people especially, I'm not talking about Western world. See, for Western world, they Westerners, they know nothing about God, so they will accept, they are more accepting than Indian people, where it is deeply ingrained into you, because from the day you're born, there will be a deity of your household, and you will be that is what you will see, you will learn, and you will grow up with. So telling somebody who is Shiv Bhakt or Hanuman Bhakt, now give up this and go to Krishna, it is next to impossible. So
No, we don't
I
do
have
that,
learned.
Rashmi. We don't
Huh?
do that. We don't do that. And I have never done that for years and years and years. I have been contacting so many Indian families. I never say, get rid of all the demigods and Durga Devi pictures and make your altar just Krishna. No, we don't say that. All what we say and what I have been saying for years and years, just keep on doing what you're doing. Just add Krishna to it. I mean, you already have 25 pictures there. So put another picture of Krishna. Add Krishna to the whole equation, and everything will happen from there on. Ben.
I wanted to pick Rashmi up on the point. She said that the Western people, they don't know anything about God. That's a very strong statement. I disagree with that. That's not fair to say that. I don't think you didn't think that one through. No, it was the point. Another point I wanted to make was that, I mean, Prabhupada, he says in the there's a verse Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita about the fact that people with less intelligence, they worship the demigods for these temporary benefits. That's given, Men of small intelligence worship the demigods for these temporary benedictions. Then he goes on to make a comparison. He says, but my devotees, they worship me. If you worship the demigods, you go to the demigods. If you worship Krishna, you go to Krishna. But there's another point that can be made as well. A point that if someone worships a demigod with the knowledge that the demigods are extensions of Krishna,
that's a different story.
In terms of extended limbs of Krishna, because all the demigods, they're all servants of Krishna. They're only performing, they're delegates.
Yes, but people don't know that.
They're in his government, and they're all doing the ministerial job.
Yes, but people don't know that.
In charge of. So,
Rashmi, can you corroborate that? People don't know that if they're worshipping Lord Shiva, if they're worshipping Durga Devi, said don't accept that, said don't know that, said Krishna is the supreme master. They think Durga Devi is the supreme and Shiva is the supreme. Am I right or not?
Yes. You will get into unnecessary arguments with them if you will try to tell them that Krishna is supreme. Nobody will accept that. You can quote anything from any literature, any scripture. They will not accept it.
Yes, I thought so.
Well, we've made the point and emphasized the point over and over again. We've read all the verses from all the different shastras. Everything that Prabhupada, he makes these points over and over again. Just reiteration and repetition that Krishna is the supreme. And we've had many classes on this point.
Yes. So what's the point?
Well, for us, we're aspiring devotees to Krishna, so we have to understand that point and be convinced in that point ourselves to be able to convey that to others.
Yes, of course. And again, what I said before, the only way, and I agree, Rashmi, you cannot convince, forget to worship Lord Shiva, forget Parvati's worship, Mataji's worship, and what you can't. It will not work. Just you keep on doing what you're doing and chant Hare Krishna as well. You're chanting so many mantras. You chant these mantras. You chant Gayatri mantra. Okay, that's fine. You just chant also Hare Krishna on top of it. That is the only way of... Samir, you wanted to say something. Samir, you?
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just going to talk about, the earlier point of approaching the Lord. And obviously we know that there's different reasons why people approach the Lord. So as long as they approach the Lord, as Rashmi was saying before, and then their understanding then automatically, or not automatically, but hopefully with the mercy, it comes to them that, they're approaching the Lord for whatever reason they went there for initially. They might be inquisitive, they might be in distress or whatever. But then, like Dhruv Maharaj, they realized that the reason they went there was the wrong reason, but it was realized, the right reason was realized, and then it changes their life.
Yes, Ben, just one moment. There is actually the system of worshipping the demigods from the Vedic point of view. It is meant, it is meant that one worships the demigods and gradually understand and see who is behind the demigods, being inquisitive. The Vedic system is meant by worshipping the demigods. One will actually eventually come to question deeper and will eventually come to the point of worshipping Krishna. So gradually moving up, with the knowledge is increasing, who are the demigods. And so we have to be patient with the people. We cannot tell them, don't worship. We can read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is bespoken, so to worship the demigods are less intelligent, and Bhagavad Gita is there for everybody to read. Rashmi. One moment.
I just wanted to, what I learned today, in Canto 4, Chapter 14, is this King Vena. He is one of the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj. This King Vena. He's a very bad king. His father Anga was very good, but this son is a very, very bad king. And he's so bad that his father Vena, Anga, leaves the kingdom and goes away. He's so disappointed with his son. So this Anga is doing so much, everything. He's like a demon. So now these Brahmans of this kingdom, they think of a way, how should we stop him? So any bad person, you can't just throw him out as a king. You've got to now explain to him what to do. So these Brahmans of that kingdom, the Dhruv Maharaj's kingdom, they go to this King Vena, and they tell him that you have stopped all the demigod worship, all the pious activities have been stopped. So you will not get any pious results. Your kingdom will not flourish, and your wealth will go, your health will go, blah, blah, blah. So the Brahmanas are actually telling Anga, he's so evil that they are first of all trying to raise him to the platform of demigod worship. So they're trying to, they're not directly telling him to approach the Supreme Personality. They are telling him, you approach the demigods. I just heard that in today's class.
Yes, same point as I tried to make. By worshipping the demigods, gradually, one will come of worshipping the Supreme Lord. Better to worship the demigods than to not worshipping anybody, just worshipping oneself, being an atheist. So at least one is worshipping the demigods, say, They may do so for material desires, but at least they're recognizing they are not the supreme powers themselves. There is some higher powers. So that's already progress. There's some higher powers there. Lord Shiva is a higher power, and I worship him, and eventually they will come to the highest power. Ben.
I kind of get what the Rashmi was on about, and I feel like I am fortunate in this sense because I don't come from that background, that culture. So I've only ever been exposed to Krishna consciousness through Prabhupada. So
yes,
therefore, I have Prabhupada's direction and instruction on these points. So I have had good instruction right from the beginning. But Prabhupada said that a lot of this, like Hinduism, is kind of like it's like he describes it as being a hodgepodge. People, they tend to just take bits from here, bits from there, and then they make it up themselves, They interpret it themselves, That's why it's so important to have someone who's in the line and is giving the correct message.
Yes, in that sense, Westerners are fortunate, but I would agree with Rashmi. The Westerners have rejected God altogether. There is no culture left. There's a little bit of Christianity left. There was a lot of Christianity. There was a lot of worshipping God in Christianity, but that is more or less all gone. So, and on the other hand, anybody coming from the Hindu or Indian background, they're also in a very, very fortunate position because a little bit scratching on the surface, a little bit of bhajan or something like that, immediately some bhakti is coming up. Immediately. For the Westerners, not at all. Not at all. They have to be convinced by philosophy and knowledge. But for people from an Indian background, anybody in India, you're sitting down and you're just chanting. Immediately something awakens there. So it's just under the skin. But they, like the Westerners looking east and getting the spiritual knowledge, and from the east they're looking west for material economic development. That's unfortunate. Ben.
No, I'm sorry, I forgot to put my hand down, but I still think that there is a predominant culture, Christian culture in the West. I mean, obviously, it's coming originally from not from the East, but from the Middle East. So there's still leanings towards this, towards Christianity and Judaism, the Abrahamic religions. You have obviously as well. You've got Islam as well, and all these countries. Nowadays, the diversity in the populations of different countries, they're not like, it's not black and white and just one homogeneous group of people. It's many diverse cultures within countries now. So religious populations and beliefs, they're like distributed all over the world now.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Actually, we don't want to distinguish between East and West and Hindu and Christian. We actually have nothing to do with that. Nothing. One is better than the other, or that is far, far away from us. All what we
that was the point I was thinking straight away as soon as you mentioned Western, because then we start to divide.
Yes. We are not interested.
And today the world is not a black and white place like
Yes.
that anymore now. I don't.
Western, Eastern, we're not interested. We are just interested of presenting Krishna and Krishna consciousness and attracting people to Krishna consciousness. That's all. Because otherwise, yes, we're dividing. We don't want to divide. We unite. The common ground. We are all unfortunate if we don't take to Krishna consciousness. So, again, we're running out of time. I would say, let's chant a little bit and then finish for tonight. Otherwise, we can keep on till midnight. And I don't think if Vaishana and Rashmi are ready to carry on till midnight. I carry on till no problem. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatyaनि Shakarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vaswadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vaswadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Londonishwara Radha Londonishwara Radha Londonishwara Radhe. Radha Londonishwara Radha Londonishwara Radha Londonishwara Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Govindachi Radha Govindachi Radha Govinda Radhe. Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe. Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe. Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe. Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Shri Radhe. Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram. Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jai Nitai Satchisundar Nitai Satchisundar Nitai Satchisundar Nitai Satchisundar Jaya Nitai Satchisundar Nitai Satchisundar Nitai Satchisundar Jaya Nitai Satchisundar Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha vatanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananda Kudi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda ki jai. Let us offer our most humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desired trees, and they can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion to the fallen and conditioned souls. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Dharm, Varshana Mataji, Antipai, Rashmi, Samir, and Ben. Just one thing more, Rashmi. Isn't that what you have been doing since a very long time with your father? You just told him, just chant also Hare Krishna. Just add the Maha Mantra to what you're already doing. Am I right or wrong? Rashmi. I remember you telling that.
Yeah, he is Hanuman Bhakt, so he finds it hard to chant the Maha Mantra. So I have said, okay, fine. I tried very hard, so I have given up now. So now what I do is, I do Krishna Katha with him twice a week. Twice a week, I make him repeat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he also repeats 3 times, and then I will explain to him some short katha with a little hint of philosophy. Not too much heavy philosophy like what we discuss here, but little bit, like what he can take and digest. And then, so that is the other way around. At least he is taking the name. Yes. Because whatever I have understood, then you're taking, Krishna has given his potency in every name, Ram, Hari, every name, as long as we are chanting. If he's not chanting the Maha Mantra, that's fine, na? Now he will chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yes. No, you're doing the right thing, I would say, because what we have been learning with the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam since Shloka 1 up till now in the 2nd chapter, till Shloka 22, what we have been learning at the beginning, of course, Srila Vyasadeva was establishing Krishna as a supreme authority, but then right after that, up till the shlokas we doing now, is just let's speak and hear let's hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, let's hear the description of Krishna and his devotees and the pastime, and that will just do everything in due course of time. So you're doing just the right thing. Just speak a little bit of Krishna Katha. And he may chant the Maha Mantra or not chant the Maha Mantra, but at least he's hearing about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, and that will work in its own time. I think you're doing just the right thing, and that can be done with all kinds. That's the same thing when I tell people, you just add Krishna picture to your altar. Same thing. Just don't, I'm not saying that's fanatically. Just get rid of all the other pictures. They have been in the family since generations. You can say that. Just add another picture. Everybody likes pictures on the altar, and the altar's getting cluttered up, and so many pictures, and they want to do all the 33,000 demigods, but that's not possible. Just add Krishna to what you're already doing, and everything will happen in time. It may take some time. Okay. Thank you very much, Rashmi. Keep on with your father, and I hope his health is improving. Vashana, I hope your Food for Life is going on very nicely.
Yes, it is. In fact, I was going to ask everyone. Harish Bhai had contacted me. Pragnesh Bhai had contacted me. They want to do a Food for Life within the next couple of weeks. So I have offered to cook. They were thinking first coming to the temple and offering, but I can offer the food here.
Yes.
To the deities. Otherwise, it will be too long and too complicated by the time they come from Coventry and get going and come to you and then go into town. I said I can offer it to the lords here. I have photos of Nitai Sundar and Radha Govinda is here also.
Radha Govinda is here with you. These are the lords. Every night we're chanting Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda. So you offer to Radha Govinda and they are willing to distribute it in town?
Yes, they are. So if anybody wants to join in or help out, we will be doing it. We've come for a temporary date of 17th of December around 1 or 2 o'clock in town. So they'll come at around 1 o'clock. By the time they get into town, it'll be about 2-ish. So they might need some help, or perhaps Ben might know. They don't know the area very well, but I've just told them to stick to the town centre and see how many people are there. Because of the bad weather, or, if it's pouring down with rain, not many people are out. So I have suggested the Dawn Centre near railway station, if they have spare dishes. But I will be doing about 20 dishes, and they will come and collect.
Krishna will guide them. And that is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Engage other people in Krishna's service in a small way. It may be by hearing Krishna Katha to one's father. It may be by having people distributing Krishna Prasad. It may be in so many millions of ways. Just let's connect people with Krishna in whatever small way it is.
Yes, so if anybody wants to join in, or if anybody wants to join in or give any donations or whatever, in whichever way they can help, they're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Vashana Mataji. You're doing absolutely a wonderful service. And the service is even multiplied by engaging other people, connecting other people, of also joining in. They will get a very great benefit by taking that prasadam and distributing them. And obviously, they like to do that. And that is their devotional service, and that will help them. Anything in connection with Krishna will help to advance further.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Jayanti Bhai, Hare Krishna. Rashmi, thank you for sticking with us till 9 o'clock. Samir, are you back soon? Are you on your way to the wonderful United Kingdom? And thank you, Ben, for your thoughtful questions, your Kirtan at the beginning, and always thoughtful question and discussion. Thank you for that. So we finish here on that note, and we'll meet again on Saturday, and we're moving on. Hare Krishna.